Hello and welcome to the Scientific Notation video tutorial. Here we're going to solve for the force of gravity between first a proton and an electron, and then the sun and the earth. We're going to use this equation here, and we're going to use all this information to do so. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the force of gravity between a proton and an electron. So Fg equals, and now it's time to enter this number into our calculator. This number is going to be pretty tough to enter into the calculator because it is so small. Some calculators don't even have enough spaces to actually display that number. So we're going to need to write this in a different format. So we can write this in what's called scientific notation. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the decimal from here, where it currently is, to behind the first number right there. So that's going to end up making 6.67. Now we just have to say times 10 to show how many times we're going to move that decimal. So we just have to count from here to here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's 11. And because we're making the numbers smaller, it is negative 11. By smaller, I mean from this number here. To get back our original number, we'd have to make the number this many times smaller. Okay. So there's that times the mass of a proton. So that's 1.67 times 10 to the negative something. So we have to count from here to there. And if you count all the way through, that's 27 times the decimal is going to move. And then we're going to multiply that by the mass of an electron. So that's 9.11 times 10 to the, it's definitely going to mean, negative. And counting from right here all the way back to the decimal, that is 31 times the decimal needs to move. And now we're going to divide by the r squared. So the r is the radius of hydrogen, because hydrogen has a proton in the middle and an electron on the outside. So that's 1.1 times 10 to the negative, and that is from here to there, that is 10 times the decimal is going to move. And that should be squared. So I'll put a bracket here, and squared. Alright, now we need to enter this into our calculator to solve. So we need to see how are we going to enter this into our calculator. To do that, have some calculators here. And on them we have circled in red the button that represents the times 10 to the negative 10. Or sorry, to times 10 to the anything. So is traditionally the double E button. It's usually found above the 7. You can see down here it's actually in yellow. So you'd have to hit the second button first above the 7. And here they change it up. It's times 10 to the x. So you will see it as different on some calculator variations. So what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to enter that number, show it to you one more time. This number here, 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11th on a calculator. So here are the buttons that I'm going to hit. I'm going to hit, do it on this one, 6.67. Now I got to do times 10. I'm not going to hit the times 10. I'm going to hit this double E button here. Double E. Then I'm going to put the negative in last. So 11, 1, 1. And now this, not minus, this for negative. And there's 6.67 times 10 negative 11th entered into my calculator. So I'm just going to times, and I'm going to enter this number into the calculator. Or sorry, this number here. 1.67 double E 27 negative times, now this number, 9.11 double E 31 negative equals, and that comes out to 1.015, I did a bit of rounding there, times 10 to the negative 67. divided by, now let's do the radius squared, 1.1 double E 10 negative, square that, and I get 1.21 times 10 to negative 20. And now I'm just going to start over and divide these. So 1.015 E 67 negative divided by 1.21 E 20 negative equals 8.388 times 10 to the negative 48. And because this is a force, that must be newtons. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to check my exponents to see that my answer makes some sense. I didn't make a drastic error in the calculator. So when you times numbers together, you're just adding the exponents up here. So 11 plus, that's negative 11, plus a negative 27, plus a negative 31. I got negative 69, which is close to negative 67, so that's good. Here, this is negative 10 plus negative 10, which is negative 20, and I got a negative 20 here. When you divide, you're subtracting the denominator. So I should have negative 67 minus a negative 20, which is plus 20, and I get negative 47, very close to negative 48. So just quick check. Alright, now let's do the second problem here. So the force of gravity is 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11 times, we now need the mass of the sun, which is 1.99. I'm going to just round that number, round these into the 1.99, times 10 to the, well, now we have a really big number, so we're still going to move the decimal from here to there. Whoops, I'm in the wrong spot. From here where it is to there, so I'm going to count how many times I have to do this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. That is a really big number. So 30, and this time it's positive because if I want to get my original number back, this number here, I need to make this number much, much bigger. In fact, I need to make it this much bigger. So that's why it's positive. So now I'm going to multiply that by the mass of the Earth. That's 5.97 times 10 to the, well, if this is 30 out here, and I have 6 zeros fewer, then I need to go 6 less than 30, so that's 24. And that's going to be divided by the distance between them squared, which is 1.5 times 10 to the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. And I'm going to square that. So 6.67 E 11 negative times 1.99 E 30 times 5.97 E 24 gives me 7.92 times 10 to the 44th, and that's going to be divided by this. I'm just going to check it really quick. Negative 11 plus 30 plus 24 gave me 43, very close to 44. So 1.5 E 11, I just have a squared button on my calculator, so I'll just hit that. Gives me 2.25 times 10 to the 22nd, and 11 plus 11 is 22, so that's right. And one last time here, 7.92 E44 divided by 2.25 E22, and my answer should be to the 22nd power because 44 minus 22 is 22, and it is 3.52 times 10 to the 22nd power newtons. Thank you for watching the Scientific Notation video tutorial.